It is always game day in Cleveland. Yes, it is. And he's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. Want to thank our friends at Smiley One and Bryant. They make it happen here locally, especially. They are your heating and cooling experts right here in Northeast Ohio. All right, Daryl, let's get set for the Indianapolis Colts. Gardner Minshew looks to be the starting quarterback this week, so we'll have a battle of backups in this. So take this from the Browns offense first. We talked about this on our broadcast show today, and I actually think I don't think PJ Walker can go anywhere but up. So I do think they'll be better this week.
Well, don't tempt fate, Baskin.
I mean, all he's got to do is hand it off and try to get the ball up in the air, especially late in the game when there's wide open receivers.
I mean, the Colts got some good players on that side of the ball. I mean, their front's pretty good. DeForest Buckner's in there.
Yeah.
You got Shaq Leonard in the middle of that defense as well. I still feel like even if PJ starts the game, the Browns should win. Because I just feel like they're the better football team. Gardner Minshew's coming off a pretty craptastic performance last week. He had 4 turnovers. I don't know. Maybe this is a real opportunity for the secondary. Like, everyone's excited because MJ Emerson was able to pick off Brock Purdy. It was Purdy's first interception of the year, and it was also MJ's first, I believe it was his first career interception. He said something that I thought was really cool when we talked to Emerson on Wednesday too, Andy. He talked about the football from the interception. He signed it. I guess they have a crate. Nobody gets to take their footballs home. They put them in the crate. And I guess the thing is to show, hey, these are our plays. Now, at the end of the season, it gets to take it home. But like for like
the team thing,
for motivation and stuff like that, you take your game ball, you toss it into the crate for making a big play or whatever. But I feel like the Browns are the better team on both sides of the ball, even with PJ Walker at quarterback. This is a game the Browns can and should, in my opinion, win. But they struggle with prosperity. They struggle with 2 things under Kevin Stefanski that bothers me. They're vastly improved at home. I think they're like 19-10 or something like that under Stefanski at home. That's great. The problem is they're not very good on the road under Stefanski. And then I think you mentioned earlier that stat after wins, where they're 3-13 or something like that after winning a football game. That's pretty terrible. And it would be nice to see them start to stack these wins. The Browns have never won more than 4 games in a row in this expansion era. They've done that like 4 or 5 times. In 2020 alone, the playoff season, they won 4 in a row twice. So, and previously before that, I think they had won 4 in a row just twice. So they doubled their 4-game win streaks, but they haven't gotten to 5. And when I look at this, I kind of want to put that as a goal this year. Win 5 in a row. Not only make the playoffs and things like win 5 games in a row. Really, really get yourself a nice stack of victory pancakes there.
Right.
But yeah, I am concerned about that. Those 2 items. The fact that they tend not to follow up wins, and they also struggle on the road.
So, Daryl, what you're talking about is something that I've kind of harped on the last 2 days. I don't want to hear the word stacked. This franchise is the last team in the NFL that's allowed to talk about stacking until they do it. You made the point. 4-game winning streaks are the ceiling for this franchise since 1999. We all walk into this week's game feeling super good that the Browns defense can help them beat Indianapolis. Well, you know what? San Francisco felt really good coming into Cleveland last week, assuming that they were going to get a win. So I'll say this, and that's why I was kind of surprised when the word even came out of Kevin Stefanski's mouth after the game with the word stack in there. I was like, you're the guy, and Andrew Berry's the guy that says we look at everything as a 1-week season.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, media can say it all they want. I don't want to hear it from the Browns. I don't want to hear the word stack. The only thing I want to hear from the Browns is Colts. That's it. 0. Zilch. I don't care who they play the rest of the season. They have 1 game. And for them to be able to put stuff together, it hasn't happened since 99. You just laid out the framework. So I don't think this team is in any position to take any game for granted. And as a fan, I'm hesitant because now I think back to last week, and how we buried the team. I did too. You know, we both did. You can read it in the comments on YouTube how much we buried the team and haha, eat your crow, blah blah blah.
Right.
I don't keep those comments coming, but I'm still never going to look at a game as a hey, they're going to get their what's kicked in this game, or hey, they're going to win this game.
Well,
They've
I kind of have to pause you there because I don't feel like the Browns are taking it for granted.
Yeah, I don't either. I just don't wanna hear
I think
no
that,
one being nitpicky. I get it. I
yeah,
get it.
I think what Kevin's trying to impress upon them is exactly the point that we have been making. The fact that they've never really been able to get it together and really put together any sustained success, right? They've had some success under Stefanski. He's the winningest coach since 1999, since this team's come back. He's got an above 500 record as head coach. But what they've not been able to do is carry that from week to week. So I do feel like that they're still focused on that boring ass, we just want to go 1-0 this week. I still feel like that they're focused.
Okay with that.
I am too, but I'm still going to make fun of it. But at the same time, I feel like that they're saying, hey, it's time to put together 1-0s. You know what I mean? We went 1-0 last week. Let's get 1-0 again this week, and let's get 1-0 next week and the week after, and start stack. I think that's where that stacking is coming from, not from a standpoint of, oh, we know we're walking into Indianapolis and we're just going to kick the crap out of the Colts for 4 quarters, come home with our dub, and get ready for our trip out west to face the Seattle Seahawks. So I got to push back a little bit on that. I don't think that they're taking anything for granted, especially with Deshaun's situation up in the air. And look, I'm hearing the same thing come from, like, for instance, the defensive players, right? I'm still hearing the same cliches that drive me nuts, but I get it. Like, I'm still hearing the same stuff over and over from them. I haven't felt or heard a change in attitude or a change in tone from them. It's just, let's just keep handling our business. Let's keep going out there and doing what we do. We know we are good. You guys, congratulations, are just starting to figure out that we're as good as we know that we are, but we have to keep going out there and proving it week in and week out and showing that level of consistency. They had a little hiccup against Baltimore, and they're looking to make sure that doesn't happen again. But guess what? I got news for you, folks. This is the National Football League. It is going to happen again. This defense is not going to be able to hold teams to 2 touchdowns a game, or 14, 15, 16, 17 points per game. That's just not the modern NFL. They're going to have a game where they're going to give up 24 or 28 or 20, something like that. But the key is that the offense does enough to make up for that as well, because the other thing is the Browns, and I got to look this up, but I think, Andy, if my memory serves me correctly, 2007 and 2020 are like the only 2 years where the Browns scored more than 400 points in a season.
Wow.
Maybe there's a third season in there. Like I said, I got to look it up, but I am pretty sure that those are the only 2 years. Like, that needs to be a goal. Score 400 points in a season, right? And now that you're on now that we're on this 17 game schedule, the averages change. If you score 400 points a season, that means you're averaging 23.5 points per game in today's NFL. Under the 16 game schedule model, that means you were scoring 25 points per game. So I kind of look at, like, the offense, their goal now needs to be, you got to score at least 400 points this season, right? In fact,
that makes sense.
You should be in the 425, 450 range. Okay. I mean, there are teams that score 500-600 points in a season, and they do it on a regular basis. The Browns struggle to get to 400 points in a season, and now they got an extra game to do it. So, I feel that the offensive problems are very small and very fixable. And
I think they need more help at running back, and they need to get another receiver active. Like, I look at the offense, but you need to start with a quarterback, and you got some health issues on the line.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of how I see it.
I just think that this freak out over Kevin Stefanski right now is just it's beyond overblown and premature over a very vocal minority of the fan base. Like, let's see when Deshaun's
It gets louder when they lose. That's all it is.
No,
And the other part of it,
no, it was pretty loud this week after they won.
no, I don't. It hasn't been on our show. It hasn't been too loud. I will say that. I'm the other topic that's going to come into play here too is that, was the Deshaun trade worth it? That's going to be on the line for the rest of the season.
No,
I think so, because
that'll be on the line after this season. Because
I think it's going to heat up towards the end of the season.
I know, but
I'm starting to feel it now. I mean, I'm starting to hear it.
We need a body of work here. Okay. It's too early to say.
Well, that's just it. There is no body of work. So that's why some fans are starting to say, was this trade worth it? I don't know. We'll see.
I can't argue. I can't argue.
And I think it's going to be a growing topic moving forward. But if they win this week, it goes in the weeds. No one's going to.
And he's got the pressure of getting over this injury. He's got the pressure of coming back and needing to light it up and show everybody, right? We got a taste. And he mentioned it on Wednesday. He's a little frustrated because that Tennessee game was like the first time that he really felt like things were starting to hum along for this offense. They were really starting to hit the ground running. And then he gets hit on that shoulder, and towards, as he's going after that happened late in the third quarter, I think it's in his head, like, damn it. Like we just got this thing going, and now I don't know what the hell's going on. And a week later, or, the night before the next game, finds out, well, this might be a 4 to 6 week deal, but it's day to day. It could heal fast. It might not heal fast. And here we are in week 4 of this whole situation, and he's not practicing yet as of when we record this podcast. There's a chance if you're listening on Thursday or Friday, which we appreciate, that he might be back on the practice field and getting himself ready to go. But I'm of the belief that if he does not practice on Thursday, Andy, you cannot play him against Indianapolis. You can't have.
I'm with you. Totally with you, Daryl.
You can't have him practice one. His last full practice was September 22nd. The last time he was on a practice field was September 29, and he wasn't throwing a football. Like he wasn't just limited. I mean, he was limited on the injury report, but he was extremely limited, as in he didn't throw a football. So it's been a while since he's thrown a football in practice. And with all due respect to his talent and all that, I just don't think it's realistic to have a guy miss nearly a month. And then if he's able to practice on Friday, you're like, hey, yeah, you're gonna go ahead and start.
Here we go. Go play. You're right. All right. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin for our producer, Meredith Kane. Thank you for watching. It's always game day in Cleveland. We really appreciate you watching on YouTube. We've had a lot of great feedback for that. Feel free. You want to rip us? We don't care. Hit us up on the bottom and why don't you give us a comment on the show, or
give them any ideas to rip us. Come on.
It doesn't matter. No, it's good. Rip, praise, whatever you want to do. It's all good. We appreciate the feedback no matter how you do it. And of course, we love the fact that you're listening on the Odyssey app as well.
As long as you always subscribe, that's all we care about.
Subscribe. That's right. Subscribe. Well said, Daryl. Well said. It's always game day in Cleveland. Thank you, Meredith.